You know that feeling. When even something as, well, as basic as grocery shopping in a new place feels like you're trying to crack some kind of secret code.
Oh, definitely.
Well, today we're going to decode that experience for you. We're diving deep into the world of the American grocery store.
And our guide for this is a really useful YouTube video. It's called Grocery Store Vocabulary Shop in English. And it's from Vanessa at speakenglishwithvanessa.com.
Yeah, it's a great resource. And what's really interesting, I think, is that while it's, designed to teach English vocabulary,
Mm-hmm.
it also sort of inadvertently just opens up this window into the everyday rhythms and unspoken rules of American consumer culture.
Exactly. It's about way more than just knowing the words, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we're not just going to learn that a cart is what you push around, although even that word has some fascinating regional twists we'll get into.
Right.
We really want to understand the flow of the store, those little cultural giveaways, and maybe even the things that seem so normal to locals that they don't even notice them anymore.
So think of this as like your fast track to getting the inside scoop on American grocery shopping.
Whether you're planning a trip, or maybe you want to sharpen your understanding of American culture, or you're just fascinated by the details of daily life somewhere else.
Yeah, our aim today is really to go beyond just a vocabulary list.
Yeah.
We're using Vanessa's video as a jumping off point to explore the whole experience.
Uncovering those subtle cultural bits and pointing out those moments that make you go, aha, when a foreign thing suddenly clicks.
Makes it feel a bit more familiar.
Okay, so let's get rolling. Vanessa's video starts right where every shopping trip does, the parking lot.
Makes sense.
And the very first essential piece of equipment she highlights is the cart.
Right, the shopping cart. And it's funny, even for something so universal, the language can change, like you mentioned.
Uh-huh.
Vanessa points out cart and shopping cart are pretty standard. But you might hear buggy, especially if you're in the southern states.
Buggy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've heard that. It's one of those regional things that tells you a bit about the local flavor, doesn't it?
Definitely. These everyday words, they carry history.
Then, almost as soon as they get inside the store, there's this small detail that I think is quite telling. Free fruit snacks for kids.
Oh, yeah, the banana.
Yeah, Vanessa and her son, Freddie, head straight for them. It's such a common sight here, you almost don't think twice about it.
Exactly. But that small gesture, it actually says quite a lot. It suggests this family-oriented approach that a lot of American grocery stores take.
Right. Like, we know shopping with kids can be tough. Here's a little something.
It's a subtle way of catering to families, making the trip a bit easier.
So with the free banana secured, they head over to the produce section. Now, okay, surface level, fruits and vegetables.
Pretty straightforward.
But Vanessa makes a really good point about the word produce itself, about how we say it.
Ah, yes. This is a fantastic example of pronunciation changing with function. So produce, the noun, for the fruits and veggies. Stress on the first syllable. But then produce, the verb, like to produce a report. Stress shifts to the second syllable.
It's subtle, but getting it right makes you sound, more natural. It helps with clarity.
Definitely.
Once you've got that down, you're hit with just the sheer variety in that produce aisle. You've got loose stuff like single apples or heads of broccoli, right next to prepackaged things like bags of lemons or potatoes. So many options.
That abundance of choice, especially in produce, it is pretty striking in American supermarkets. It's not like that everywhere.
No, it's not. It reflects a whole lot of things, I guess. Farming, imports, what people want, convenience.
Yeah, a complex mix.
So Vanessa then walks past the bulk section and she points out some bagged bananas that are on sale. And this leads to a really useful clarification.
Yes. On sale versus for sale. Super important for any shopper.
Right. On sale means discounted, a special price.
While for sale just means, well, it's available to buy at its normal price. So technically everything's for sale.
But only some things are specifically on sale. Look for the big signs.
Exactly.
Okay, next stop is the deli counter. Vanessa explains this is where you get your freshly sliced lunch meats, cheeses.
She gives examples like half a pound of turkey or a pound of cheddar cheese, ordering specific amounts.
But they actually decide to skip it. Why? Because the wait was too long.
Huh. Yeah. Who hasn't done that?
Yeah.
It tells you people like that fresh sliced stuff, but also maybe the store was busy or short-staffed right then.
It's that classic trade-off, right? Freshness versus your time.
Always.
Then they move on to the bakery, which, let's be honest, often smells amazing. Fresh donuts, bread, cakes.
Definitely a sensory experience.
And this brings in a nice personal touch. Vanessa mentions her son Freddie's upcoming birthday.
Right, and he wants a very specific cake.
With cereal on it. Which, sounds like something a kid would definitely ask for.
It does. It just grounds the whole thing in real family life, doesn't it? Grocery stores are part of our routines, our celebrations.
Totally. Okay, moving through the store. Vanessa finds hummus. She specifically mentions bell pepper flavor.
Which just gives you another little hint at the sheer variety available, even in prepared foods.
Then she tackles a topic that can be confusing. Fresh versus frozen, especially for fish and meat.
Yeah, this is a really important point she makes, that fresh fish. Often it was frozen previously and then thawed for the display.
Good to know. True, never frozen fish is usually more expensive, right?
Generally, yes. It's about knowing what you're actually buying. And she also gives that polite phrase for the meat counter.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like 2 pounds of ground beef, please. Just that direct, courteous way to ask for exactly what you need.
Nice. Okay, now let's talk about just navigating the store itself, the layout. Vanessa walks down an aisle, and she makes sure to emphasize that silent S in aisle.
Ah, yes, A-I-S-L-E. It's totally silent. It's definitely a common trip up for English learners.
For sure. She also mentions using phrases like on aisle 3 to find things.
And learning that kind of practical language tied to a real place like a grocery store makes it stick so much better, builds confidence.
Definitely. So little Freddie gets excited then by pretzels and crackers.
The special snack.
Yeah, the special snack gives you a little peek into their family's treat habits, maybe. And this leads to talking about end caps.
End caps, those shells right at the end of the aisles.
Exactly. And what do stores often put there?
Snacks, chips, sale items, things they want you to notice. It's prime real estate in a store.
Totally deliberate. High visibility spots to encourage those impulse buys as you turn the corner. Retail strategy 101.
Absolutely. Key part of in-store marketing.
Okay, next they head to the dairy section, which, as Vanessa points out, can be a little surprising.
Why is that?
Because it often includes eggs, right there with the milk, yogurt, cheese.
Oh, right. That is true. In many parts of the world, eggs aren't refrigerated in stores.
Exactly. And here's another pronunciation tip she gives, the word refrigerated.
Ah, the middle T.
Yeah, in American English it often softens, sounds more like a refrigerated.
That's a really common sound shift. Good one to practice.
So their mission in the dairy aisle is finding plain whole milk yogurt. It becomes a bit of a mini quest.
And she notes the price.
Yeah, just a small moment, but it highlights those everyday calculations, doesn't it? How much does this cost? Is it worth it? That's always part of shopping.
For most people, absolutely. Those economic factors play a big role.
Then Vanessa introduces the idea of a splurge.
Ooh, the splurge item.
That thing you don't really need, but you want it. It feels like a treat. For her, it was sparkling water with fruit juice.
Nice. Everyone has their little splurges, right? That balance between needs and wants.
Totally. Then the topic of alcohol comes up. Now, this gets complicated in the U.S.
Yeah, the rules are, well, they vary a lot.
Vanessa explains the rules where she is in North Carolina. You can get wine and beer in the grocery store.
But for hard liquor, vodka, whiskey, stuff like that, you have to go to a separate state-controlled store. An ABC store, or sometimes just called a liquor store.
And that's different in other states. Some states sell liquor in grocery stores. Some have different rules entirely. It's definitely something you need to check locally.
Good advice. Know the local laws if you plan to buy alcohol.
It's also interesting, I thought, that Vanessa picks up non-food stuff, like gardening gloves and poster board.
Right. It's a good reminder that American grocery stores often try to be more than just food places.
Like a mini general store sometimes?
Kind of. A one-stop shop for a bunch of everyday needs. Convenience is key.
Okay, almost done shopping. Before they head to the checkout, Vanessa revisits that key term, grocery, or grocery store.
And the pronunciation point again.
Yeah, she notes you can say it with more of an ez sound in the middle, grocery, or more of a ziz sound, grocery.
And both are totally fine. Natural speech has variations. It's good for learners to know there isn't always just one single correct way.
It's definitely reassuring. Okay, the final stage, the checkout.
The end game.
And again, Vanessa points out the word itself can be a verb, let's check out now.
Or a noun, let's go to the checkout. Or the checkout counter.
And the checkout area itself, it has its own little landscape and rituals.
Doesn't it just? Starting with all those tempting items right by the register.
The candy, the gum, the magazines, the little sodas.
Exactly. Prime impulse buy territory again. a very well-known retail tactic. Vanessa even asks as if that's common elsewhere, which is a good question.
Then you have the actual interaction. The cashier asks, paper or plastic?
The classic bag question reflects ongoing environmental debates, different material options.
Though reusable bags are much more common now, too, which Vanessa actually forgot.
Happens to the best of us.
Then the payment question. Cash or credit? Or sometimes cash or card.
Standard options.
Yeah.
And Vanessa also uses her membership card.
Right, the loyalty card for discounts. Very common here. It shows how competitive the grocery business is. Stores want to keep you coming back.
Build that customer loyalty.
Finally, they're out through the automatic doors. And then the last step, loading the groceries into the car back home.
The trip is complete.
It's such a familiar routine for so many people.
It is. But as Vanessa's video really shows, it's a routine just packed with these subtle details that actually reveal a lot about daily life, about language, about culture.
And those cultural bits are really the most fascinating part, aren't they?
I think so.
Like the free snacks for kids, that regional word buggy, the incredible variety, especially in produce.
Those end caps, strategically placed, the whole paper, plastic thing, the loyalty cards.
Yeah, all these small things, when you put them together, they paint a pretty rich picture of American habits, priorities, even language differences.
It's a microcosm, really.
So the big takeaway for you listening is that even something that seems really ordinary, like grocery shopping,
Yeah.
it's just loaded with these linguistic nuances and cultural cues.
And noticing them, understanding them, can give you a much deeper feel for a place. It can make navigating everyday life somewhere new feel, well, easier, more comfortable.
More enjoyable, even.
Yeah, what's really eye-opening is how this mundane task can be like a lens to see broader cultural patterns and values through.
Okay, let's wrap things up then. We've taken a pretty detailed walk through the American grocery store using Vanessa's video as our map.
We covered navigating the store, some key vocabulary pronunciation points.
And those cultural observations that, make the experience what it is.
And this brings up, I think, a really interesting thought for you to maybe mull over.
Oh, yeah.
The next time you find yourself grocery shopping, doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
Could be your home country, could be somewhere new. Just try paying a bit more attention.
To what specifically?
To the subtle language people use, the layout of the store,
Hmm.
the kinds of products emphasized, the interactions, those little cultural cues.
Right. Like, what do those details actually tell you about that specific place and the people there?
Have you noticed similar things to what we discussed today? Or totally different ways of doing things in your own town, or maybe when you've traveled?
It's a great point. It really is a reminder that even the most everyday activities can be incredibly rich sources of learning and understanding.
If we just take a moment to look a little closer.